Hello, this is Ms. Haley, and welcome back to AP Macro Flip videos. So we're finishing up our video 11 about monetary policy by today talking about the Phillips curve. And so we know from our last video that with expansionary monetary policy, which can be enacted by the Fed or a central bank buying bonds, which then increases the money supply and decreases interest rates. In that short run period, that decreased interest rate will lead to more investments, which increases aggregate supply and leads to these three changes: higher real GDP, lower unemployment, and higher price levels, which could hypothetically stimulate an economy. And so what we want to look at in this video is how this monetary policy can actually change an economy in short run and long run, and specifically we want to see that change occurring between the relationship of unemployment and price levels. So what economists have done to understand more the relationship between inflation, or changing and increasing price levels, and unemployment rates, they've created this curve called the Phillips curve. And so this Phillips curve shows in the short run this inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment rates. So when there is monetary or fiscal policy that's expansionary, we see an increase in aggregate demand, which gives us both an increase in price level, so some inflation increase, and an increase in real GDP, which we can also say would be an increase in employment or a decrease in unemployment. So we have this negative relationship between increasing inflation and decreasing unemployment. But what we see is that this relationship, that if a nation is having expansionary fiscal or monetary policy and there's an increase in inflation, that this lower unemployment rate only is true in the short run. And that in the long run, when prices adjust, we as a nation will go back to that long run equilibrium and long run full unemployment or full employment level. And so if that expansionary policy occurs, we keep that increased inflation level but go back to that original unemployment. So we can also see that with the shifts in Phillips curve, with which the shifts in the short run Phillips curve occur when there's expected inflation, which usually comes from expansionary monetary or fiscal policy. So again, if we say we started at this long run equilibrium, there was expansionary policy enacted. When we're at this higher point B, it seems that we have higher inflation and lower unemployment, but we know that's only true in the short run. So then when we as a nation adjust all of our prices in the long run, we keep that higher inflation caused by expansionary monetary or fiscal policy, but then we go back to the natural rate of unemployment. And so we go back to this point C on the long run Phillips curve. So with this increase in inflation, or even just expected increase in inflation, we have a shift to the right of our short run Phillips curve. And so this will help us in tomorrow's graphing. If we are told that the inflation rate of a nation is coming from being in long run equilibrium, where would we see that inflation rate? Well, it would be where the short run Phillips curve and the long run Phillips curve intersect. So right, we're at that natural rate of unemployment and this specific inflation that comes from the equilibrium intersection point of the short run and the long run Phillips curve. If the nation's economy is operating below full unemployment, that means that they actually have more unemployment than the natural rates, and so we would be at this farther to the right point. So we have a little bit lower inflation but higher unemployment. What if we as a nation were operating above full unemployment? We would actually be above with a higher inflation but also a lower unemployment. And neither the green point or the red point are sustainable. Again, in the long run, we're going to readjust to this natural rate of unemployment unless something more structural changes about technology, institutions, or resources. So thank you for today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.